Tonight, scandal on campus.
We've been tough-minded about hazing and about other inappropriate behavior.
Sorority, infamous for its viral recruitment video, has been suspended. Sisters come together to show a united front. Details on the fall of one of the university's oldest sororities coming up. Plus, a day with Donna.
I always ask a simple question. Would this be a great adventure? How much would I learn from the experience?
Professor, activist, and politician. You've seen her name on posters and campaign signs, or right here on campus. But who is Donna Shalala? We'll tell you the story behind her rise from community activist to congressional candidate. And take it to the streets.
Layup, three-pointer, rebound, I can do everything.
This group of men play like professionals without a regulation court. They find their passion on the streets. NewsVision starts right now.
Good evening, you're watching NewsVision. I'm Jihad Chatara.
And I'm Kate Hovan. Thank you for joining us. One of the University of Miami's most prominent female fraternities has been suspended from campus for at least 2 years, following an almost month-long investigation into alleged hazing.
UMTV's Tommy Fletcher is live in studio with details. Tommy, tell us what happened.
Well, that's right, guys. The organization that we're talking about is Delta Gamma. The Beta Tau chapter here at UM gained national attention for this raunchy recruitment video, but now the organization is getting attention for a much different reason. The women's fraternity was issued a cease and desist notice on February 27th and was suspended for at least 2 years Tuesday. The decision to suspend the group was not made by the University of Miami, but instead by the Delta Gamma National Organization. A statement from Delta Gamma's national organization says in part that Delta Gamma does and will not tolerate hazing behavior. It continues to say that the national office had no choice but to close the chapter. This statement also reveals why the chapter was suspended. A video showing hazing, harassment, alcohol distribution, forced alcohol consumption, and forced travel with unknown men was shown to university officials. This allegedly occurred during the group's Big Little reveal on February 16th. University officials are also speaking out about the suspension. A statement from Vice President for Student Affairs Pat Whiteley confirmed that the decision to suspend the women's fraternity was made by Delta Gamma's national office. The statement also says in part that the university supports the Delta Gamma national office's decision to suspend the chapter. Students on campus are also speaking out about the suspension and how one less group will change Greek life on campus. UMTV spoke to some of these students.
I mean, I definitely think that we should have a zero tolerance policy, because I think that any sort of abuse like that shouldn't be tolerated on our campus, much less any campus, because it's just not fair. And especially considering that it's a part of being initiated into a Greek organization, I think that that's the exact opposite of what Greek life should be. It's about, sisterhood, brotherhood, coming together as a unit. And
I think it's incredibly unfortunate that these events have taken place on our campus. These Greek organizations need to think more about how they can have a philanthropic and long-lasting effect rather than thinking about these dangerous and silly rituals.
I think it's really unfortunate that people are getting punished for this. I think that overall Greek life isn't a bad thing. I think that a few people just made some really bad mistakes, but overall, I think hazing is awful, and I think that it shouldn't be allowed on any college campus, and it shouldn't be any part of becoming a Greek life member.
I think it's unfortunate because a lot of these girls are really good people, and a select few who made a bad choice are ruining the Greek life for a lot of people who didn't do anything wrong.
But while some students are speaking out, members of Delta Gamma have remained quiet. I've reached out to Delta Gamma's president and student leaders who are members of Delta Gamma but have not yet heard back. Live in the studio for UMTV, I'm Tommy Fletcher. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Tommy.
Really a hot topic nationwide. And Greek life at UM is no stranger to hazing allegations. Former UM President Donna Shalala had to deal with the death of a student as a result of hazing while she was in charge of UM.
Most hazing laws are set up by state government, and the rules are set up by the fraternities and sororities themselves. I'll tell you what I did as a college president. I closed down fraternities. We took very strong stands. And every university I've been at, We've been tough-minded about hazing and about other inappropriate behavior.
One of the fraternities kicked off of UM's campus during Shaleila's presidency was Pi Kappa Alpha, also known as Pike. The fraternity was suspended from campus in 2013 for 5 years after allegations of sexual misconduct and hazing surfaced. The fraternity is expected to recolonize starting in the fall of 2018.
It's really interesting to see Donna Shalala take on the issues now that she's running for Congress.
That's right, and Shalala is just one of 9 Democratic candidates bidding for UM alumnus Ileana Ross Latham's seat. Primary elections will be held in August.
But before then, she sat down with UMTV reporter Trayvon Howard, who joins us now live at the studio. Trayvon, what did you guys talk about?
That's right, guys. I got a chance to talk with Donna Shalala on Stories of the U. Here's one of the things she told me she had done that shaped her into the leader that she is today.
Adventure. I always ask a simple question. Would this be a great adventure? How much would I learn from the experience? When I was finishing my undergraduate work, I was thinking about whether I should go to law school or whether I should go to graduate school or whether I should go be a journalist, go back to the Cleveland Press where I'd worked during the summers to be a reporter. All of that seemed pretty dull, so I thought about the Peace Corps. I applied and was accepted. I told them I wanted to go to the Middle East because my family was Lebanese. So I was accepted for the Iran project. The question was, what would the greatest adventure be? Where could I make a contribution? How could I save the world? I mean, it was that simple, but also that complex. So I joined the Peace Corps. It was an extraordinary experience. It made me a world citizen. We made a difference. We built an agricultural college. We improved the quality of life for the farmers by helping them to get the salt out of the land. We improved the quality of their crops and the quality of their buildings. I mean, we did lots of things, but I taught a lot of English, even coached a soccer team in the process. It's not just learning about a different culture. It's learning how to live in a different culture, and that people around the world want the same things. They want a better life for their children. They want to make sure that they're supportive of other family members. They have deep religious beliefs. Even though some of their beliefs were different than mine, we got along very well, and we were a very successful Peace Corps group.
Dr. Shalala says her run for Congress was inspired by her passion for the dreams of young people. She felt that we were going back as a nation without focus on people who are in need of assistance and can't help themselves. For UMTV, I'm Trayvon Howard. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Trayvon. There's no doubt that gun violence will be one of the main issues on the table during the congressional race. This past weekend, millions of people around the world took to the streets to demand gun control. The marches were organized by survivors of the Marjory Stoneman Douglas shooting. The main event took place in Washington, but sister marches were held across the United States. Some MSD alumni who are currently studying at UM led the March for Our Lives in Miami. More than 4,500 marched in Miami Beach, calling on young people to make their voices heard at the polls.
Younger generations should really look at this as their time to spark a movement and realize that they have a voice no matter how.
Remarks from local public officials and MSD students taking aim at Florida Representative Marco Rubio, President Donald Trump, and the National Rifle Association, all well-known advocates of the Second Amendment. Manning and the other 3 UM students who organized the march in Miami say that though it's unlikely legislators will take action against gun violence immediately, they hope state politicians take some steps in the right direction.
In the wake of the Parkland shooting, a new organization has formed in Broward County, Florida. The group is called 17 for Change, a reference to the 17 people killed at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School on Valentine's Day. Organizers say the group will work to strengthen gun control laws and educate voters about gun-related issues. It will also keep track of how elected officials are voting on gun legislation. Broward County Commissioner Mark Bogan announced the new organization at a meeting in Coral Springs.
This organization involves students, alumni, elected officials, parents, teachers, and others. Different generations coming together for a common goal. That goal is reforming gun laws.
Wants to create a platform that would allow people to organize community-based solutions to gun violence.
And one of Marjorie Stoneman's victims is being honored through her favorite form of expression, dance. And as reporter Amanda Alvarez found out, it's reaching dancers over 1,000 miles away.
The marches, the protest, the rallies. We have seen it all after the shooting that took place in Parkland, Florida on February 14th. But there's a small dance community out there that is mourning differently.
One of the victims of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting was 14-year-old Jamie Guttenberg. She was a dancer and a part of that dance community, and now the dance community is honoring her legacy by wearing orange pins, just like the one I have here. Orange was her favorite color, and now it's becoming a symbol for gun violence awareness.
Responses of this movement have reached as far as Connecticut and New Jersey, where these dancers are posing in their orange ribbons. The cast of the Broadway musical Hamilton even gathered together and shared their own inspiring message about the cause with the hashtag Orange Ribbons for Jamie.
There's no violence to it. Like, it's just us dancing our hearts out towards Jamie.
Through Just Movement, these dancers are hopeful that they can provide a small outlet in a world clouded by darkness.
Its importance in the dance community is to show how dancers can portray a tragic event and what we need to do to fix our society.
The art as a medium to pay tribute to a tragic event is speaking volumes larger than words. For UMTV, I'm Amanda Alvarez.
Well, Kate, it's amazing what this tragedy has sparked. These kids are so brave to continue the fight.
Absolutely. The marches have been so inspiring, and they really have created this new cause. But now Tommy Fletcher joins us with a preview of the weather forecast. Tommy, I heard we can expect some winds this week. Is that so?
Well, yeah, that's right. Pretty windy right now as well here in Miami. Winds out of the east-southeast at 15 miles per hour. That's not really taking away, though, from the beautiful day that we've had so far today. Temperatures right now sitting at 75 degrees at Miami International Airport. The winds aren't just affecting us here in Miami, though. As you can see, throughout South Florida, winds 18 miles per hour in Key West, 15 miles per hour in West Palm Beach, and 16 up in Fort Lauderdale. And as we take a look at the radar and satellite, you can see things pretty clear over the last couple hours, just a few scattered clouds that we dealt with earlier today. That's not the case, though, for people in other parts of the country. You can see this system that stretches almost from Texas all the way up to Toronto. That's causing problems in some areas, bringing some pretty heavy rain to areas like New Orleans. That's going to cause some concerns with flooding for them. Coming up in the full forecast, I'll tell you whether that will affect our weekend weather here in Florida or if it'll bring rain to us tomorrow. Plus, I'll tell you how long weather will stay in the 80s. I'll have that and more coming up in my full forecast ahead in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Tommy. Nice weather for some baseball season, but even more impressive is one of our players out on the field.
That's right. Coming up after the break, we'll bring you the story of one baseball player who has overcome a major medical setback to get where he is today.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, button the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep pedaling.
Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, you ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Are familiar with the name Michael Burns. He's a Miami Hurricane, but not many people know that Aside from being a student athlete, he was diagnosed with a life-threatening medical condition that pushed him to overcome all odds. Here is UMTV reporter Sydney Sterling with his story.
You may recognize this familiar face from Friday Nights at the Light or for his community service around the city of Miami. Outfielder and captain Michael Burns is known for his strong batting average and impressive ball handling skills. But before Burns was a Hurricane, he found himself in a situation more nerve-wracking than being up to bat with bases loaded and 2 outs.
When I was in junior college 2 years ago, I was at Cisco College, and pretty much how it started was I had this bump growing on my leg, and it was a painless bump, and I didn't really think anything of it.
But after a call from his doctor, the seemingly harmless bump turned out to be Michael and his family's biggest fear.
Told me that I had second intermediate grade myxoid liposarcoma is what it was called, and it was cancerous, and I had to go see an oncologist.
According to the Mayo Clinic, liposarcoma is a rare soft tissue cancer that affects roughly 13,000 Americans each year. Even though liposarcoma can be found in any part of the body, the cancer is mostly found in the thigh. In order to keep his bone after 37 radiation treatments, doctors placed a 17-inch metal rod, roughly half the size of a baseball bat, into Michael's leg to preserve his bone.
When he shared that with me, and also my program coordinator, Sarah, we were like, what do you mean? And he actually showed us the pictures of what they removed from his leg. And you just go, how does one come back from this?
After finishing his radiation treatments, Michael set his sights on transferring to Miami with another face Canes fans might recognize.
It's going to be weird not living with the guy. I mean, I've lived with the guy for 5 years now, and we've been through so many different stuff.
But if it wasn't for Jeb, Michael would have probably never ended up in Miami.
Showing him every time I'd say, Jeb, like, you know, look at this thing in my leg. So finally it kept growing bigger and bigger, and he actually told my mom about it when we were at dinner one night.
And from that moment, the two had a bond that would last forever.
I mean, this is a guy that is going to be at my wedding.
From Coral Gables, I'm Sydney Sterling reporting for UMTV.
Despite overcoming cancer, Burns in his last season as a redshirt senior and will graduate in May. You can watch Burns in action this Friday at 6 p.m., Saturday at 4 p.m., and Sunday at 1 p.m. when the Canes face Georgia Tech. We really do have an incredibly inspiring and hardworking athletes here at the U.
Inspiring to say the least. And you can catch some of them over the weekend if the weather allows you. We'll tell you what the weekend forecast will be here after a short break. Don't go away.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Okay, Simon, what do people wear?
Clothes.
That's right, so it's important to learn how to dress yourself. Here's how it's done. Shirt, underwear, pants, socks, shoes. Underwear, always first, name tag on the back. Then pants and shirt. Go ahead and put this on. Now with the shirt, you want to make sure the first button's right or you have to start all over again, okay? Socks left on left, right on right. Tying the shoes, we're gonna take the laces, we're gonna cross them over, we're gonna turn around where the bunny goes down in the hole, pull it tight, and bunny ears. Got it?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Thanks for staying with us here on NewsVision. I'm meteorologist Tommy Fletcher, here with a look at your forecast. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, if you were outside at all today, a beautiful day here in Miami. Temperatures reaching 80 degrees, almost at our normal temperature of this year, 81 degrees, so temperatures seasonable for this time, and not, though, quite reaching our record temperature of 90 degrees. Temperatures around South Florida right now sitting comfortably in the mid-70s, 75 degrees here in Miami, 75 up in West Palm Beach, 77 in Marathon and down in Key West. Temperatures at 76 degrees. Definitely here in South Florida, we're the hot spot nationally. So you can see as you look around, temperature 70 degrees in Dallas, 48 degrees in Wichita, and 34 degrees in Denver. Nationally, though, you can see there's nothing much happening on this western side of the country. The big weather maker for much of the country is this system, as we mentioned earlier, that stretches from Texas all the way up to Toronto. That's bringing some pretty severe weather to some areas around the country. We'll zoom back into New Orleans, where we can see some areas of red, yellow, and orange. That means some pretty severe precipitation, some pretty heavy rainfall going on there. That could bring them some problems with flooding in the next couple of hours as they continue to deal with this system. Some of these areas also under severe thunderstorm warnings or watches. We'll zoom back out. You can also see some areas of red and yellow around St. Louis and stretching to Cincinnati, almost moving through Atlanta right now as well. As for our futurecast here in South Florida, this system's not really going to affect us that much. You can see as we move it forward in time, stopping at 7:30 tomorrow night, the system starts to fall apart as it comes across South Florida. As we move into the day on Saturday and Sunday, you can see it continues to fall apart. There is, though, still a pretty slight chance for precipitation across South Florida as we move into Saturday and Sunday as well. I think this model's over-anticipating it a little bit. It's not going to rain that much here in South Florida. As we look forward tonight, though, you're not going to need an umbrella or even a sweater if you head out to the Grove. Temperatures sitting pretty comfortably in the low 70s as we move and look towards tomorrow. High of around 80 degrees, making it pretty nice about midway through your day. Starting things off, 74 degrees, and as you move into tomorrow night, temperatures in the upper 70s with not a cloud in the sky. As we move forward towards Easter and take a look at the Easter forecast, jumping ahead to Sunday, temperatures in the low 70s, a really nice day with a low rain chance. However, the breeze that we've been talking about throughout the newscast will stick around. Winds will be sustained at around 10 miles per hour and could definitely gust up a little bit higher to 15. And as we look at our 7-day forecast, this nice weather sticks around pretty much throughout the weekend and into the beginning of next week with temperatures in the low to mid 80s. Only chance of rain next Wednesday and Thursday. That's all I have for weather. For now, though, we'll send it back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Tommy. And thankfully, the weather has been holding up. I might just head to a Marlins game tomorrow.
And now that baseball season is here, that might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, hopefully my plans don't fall through and I can go to the game too.
Yeah, well, that's why you always have a plan B.
Good one. Well, it's the day all baseball fans have been waiting for. It's been 148 days since the Astros defeated the Dodgers during Game 7 in the 2017 World Series. But opening day has finally arrived, which means a clean slate for all 30 MLB teams. Miami Marlins faced off today against the Chicago Cubs in the first game of the season. It didn't take long for the Cubs to put some points on the board. Actually, it only took one pitch. The first pitch of the MLB season led to its first home run. Cubs second baseman Ian Happ took a 96-mile-per-hour pitch deep into right field. Later on in the game, an emotional Cubs first baseman Anthony Rizzo hit a homer at the top of the second inning. The Stoneman Douglas alum with an MSD patch on his jersey made his first hit count. The Marlins tried making a comeback, but Kyle Schwarber put it away and the Cubs won 8-4. And with spring practice in full swing, the Miami Hurricanes put on the pads for the first time at Greentree. However, with the departure of key leaders Braxton Berrios, Mark Walton, and others leaving for the NFL draft, the Canes are looking to have some of their underclassmen answer the call.
We lack leadership, and even during practice, we made a lot of plays, probably more so on Saturday, but there's no one else celebrating with the guys on the field. That can't happen. We're not going to be a selfish or lazy football team. We're going to come out and compete every single day. And it's a privilege and opportunity to be here and put this uniform on. And I expect those guys to come out and compete every single day.
The Canes will return to the practice fields on Saturday for their 6th practice of the spring. Miami is gearing up for their annual spring game, which will be held on April 14 at Hard Rock Stadium. And in other news, the Cleveland Cavaliers played the Miami Heat this past Tuesday. The Cavs were looking to escape the cold weather with a trip to South Beach. But the King got a not-so-warm welcome in Wade County from his close pal. Second quarter action in the AAA. Heat are up 18, LeBron dribbling, trying to call ISO on Kelly Olynyk, but then the help defense comes, and who is it? Dwayne Wade! Let's watch this again. D. Wade sending LeBron packing back home to the land. But at the end of the day, it goes beyond the game of basketball, as the two are seen hugging it out on the court. Jihad, I have to tell you, it's nice seeing LeBron losing in Miami.
Well, Bree, they don't call him the Frozen One for nothing.
But guys, I heard about a group of basketball players nearby.
Yeah, when we come back, we take a trip downtown to find Whiteside, Kyrie, and White Chocolate. But they are not balling on the hardwood. Don't change that channel because we'll take you to one of the hottest parks in Miami right after the break.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Hall and set up hidden cameras to see what would happen. It only took 14 seconds. If only it were this easy to spot a thief. Remember, keep it with you, keep it safe.
Miami is home to some of the top basketball players in the world. Athletes like LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Shaquille O'Neal have all stepped foot in the 305. But they're not the only ones. Go into the heart of Miami and you'll find some of the best local players. That's what our reporter Isaiah Kim Martinez did. He went downtown to meet the stars of Miami street ball.
What? Straight up. What? Whatever you want. Layup, three-pointer, rebound, I can do everything.
Oh my God. What's count?
Too easy.
Don't help.
The reputation comes from what other people talk about. So, you know, obviously if you're draining your threes, then, you know, they're going to talk about it.
Margaret Pace Park, a hub for street ball in downtown Miami. The best local players come to showcase their dominance on the court.
It's all about finesse and swagger. That don't mean nothing, man. Kyrie ain't the biggest on the court, but what he do?
Everyone here has a nickname. It all depends on whoever they model their game after. It's gotten to the point where they don't even know each other's real names.
You know, at first they used to call me White Chocolate because of my passes. Then they used to call me Jason Kidd. Then they called me Tony Parker.
I was like one of the bigger people. I was like 6'2". So it was like, that was the name that he just chose to give me, and then it just stayed like that.
Kyrie.
Kyrie? Why Kyrie?
I'm just the man, like I'm the best of the best.
For many, this has become a tradition. Same time, same place, for as many nights as they can.
A lot of people come out here, like pro players, sometimes college players. It's usually pretty good competition, you know.
We only need one. Go all the way down.
Reporting in Biscayne Boulevard, I'm Isaiah Kim Martinez, UMTV.
Well, I know where I'm headed after this. Just call me Little Bill.
Little Bill. I don't think you'll get much street credit with that name.
Hey, listen, I take offense to that. I'm going to prove it to you. Just watch.
All right, I'll come watch you.
Yeah, well, you don't want to miss it. But you better, you better not miss it. That's all the time we have for NewsVision tonight. I'm Jihad Shatara.
And I'm Kate Hovan. Thank you for watching.